everybody, it's me, your buddy Dave, the host of the Dark Stuff channel here on YouTube. Thank you so much for checking out my latest video. As always, it's much appreciated. Today I'm coming to you with some really sad news, and that is Ace Frehley, founding member and lead guitarist of the band Kiss, the guitar player in my favorite band of all time, passed away today at the age of 74. So Paul Daniel Space Ace Frehley, of course, born in 1951, passed away today. He's been in the news recently as he had to cancel all of his remaining 2025 dates, supposedly from a fall in the studio, and they were kind of vague about what actually happened, but I felt like it was probably more serious than they were letting on. Rumors about a stroke, but then those rumors were denied. And we still don't know exactly what happened, but I would imagine the stroke falling scenario was definitely a part of that picture, no doubt. Ace's family issued the following statement. It said, "We are completely devastated and heartbroken. In his last moments, we were fortunate enough to have been able to surround him with loving, caring, peaceful words, thoughts, prayers, and intentions as he left this earth. We cherish all of his finest memories, his laughter, and celebrate his strengths and kindness that he bestowed upon others. The magnitude of his passing is of epic proportion and beyond comprehension. Reflecting on all of his incredible life achievements, Ace's memory will continue to live on forever." See, my phone is blowing up because people have been calling and texting me constantly since this news came out. I've kind of felt like, in a way, I've been on this death watch this afternoon, because ever since the TMZ report came out that said that Ace was suffering from, he was on life support and he was, on the verge of death, I've been just kind of like, oh man, I hope he pulls through, but also being realistic about a man who's 74 years old. So normally this would be the part of the show where I would show like every record that I have Ace Frehley on. I'm not going to do that here because there's hardly the point. Here's my signed copy of Origins. I have a picture, this thing back here, it's kind of hard to see it right now, but I'll put up a picture of it. That when I got to meet Ace back in 2016, it was an awesome time. It was very briefly, it was one of the things where he does the meet and greets on the bus after the show. And because a family member of mine was the owner of the venue he was playing, they let me go up for free, and I got to get a bunch of records signed by Ace. That's when I got this thing. Man. Got my first copy of the album signed. Ace doesn't even have to look at his signature when he does it too. I mean, he signed his name with the little card, the Ace card, like so many times, and he probably does it hundreds of times a night that he didn't even have to look at it. But Ace's guitar playing, his tone, his sound, many of the songs like Cold Gin, that just because he didn't sing it doesn't mean he didn't write it. So many really early songs, Parasite and Strange Ways, and all of just some of the best stuff. Ace was like the Keith Richards of Kiss. Like he was like dangerous, and he was unpredictable. And while that used to bother Gene and Paul, that's what made him work so well for Kiss. And that's why that original foursome with Peter and Ace and Gene and Paul was the greatest band of all time, in my opinion. Of course, it goes without saying that when the Kiss guys in 1978 made their solo albums, that Ace's was the best. I don't think that's a very controversial opinion. I do want to say that one of the greatest nights of my life was when I got to see the original lineup get back together in 1996. I was at Tiger Stadium, opening night, and I've said this before, I'm not a religious person, but this was the closest thing I've ever had to a religious experience, was seeing the four of them back together on that stage playing. It was so mind-blowing. I've had the privilege of seeing Ace solo a couple of times after Kiss. I didn't see him in between when he left Kiss and when he rejoined the Frehley's Comet years. I wasn't able to see that band, unfortunately. So I do want to relay one quick anecdote, and that was in 1985-86, I had my own Kiss fanzine, right? It was called Kiss Rocks the World, and I really wanted to interview Ace, but I didn't have any way of getting in touch with him. I was 14 years old, by the way, so it's not like I had like access to a lot of information, But I found out that Ace Frehley's mother was listed in the phone book. Like, you could call up the information for Bronx, New York, and get her number. And I did, and I got her number, and we spoke a couple of times on the phone. She was super, super nice. You know, this was the time in between when Ace quit Kiss and when Frehley's Comet started, so nobody had seen or heard from him in years. And I just kept saying how I wish I could talk to him and whatever. And one day, I'm gone. I'm out at the pool, you know, went to our local swimming pool or whatever. And apparently Ace Frehley called my house back in 1985. My dad answered the phone, took the message. They asked for me. I wasn't there. Told him to tell him that Ace Frehley had called. Didn't leave a number to call back, and this was before caller ID. So when I get home from swimming, my dad tells me that, oh, by the way, someone named Ace Frehley called. And I'm like, well, what? You know? And I didn't believe it. I thought it was my friends pranking me or whatever. So I thought, okay, here's a quick test. I took out a VHS videotape that had an interview with Kiss, the original 4 guys, and I put it in the tape player, and I said, when you hear the guy who spoke to you, and you hear him on the tape, tell me. Because my dad wouldn't have known. And as soon as Ace Frehley started speaking, he was like that guy. So I believe it. I believe Ace did call me, and that Ace's mom suggested it, and I always thought that was such an awesome thing. A missed opportunity, but I did get to meet him in 2016. All right, so I could just keep yammering on and talking about how much I love Ace and how much he will be missed and how important he has been in my entire life. He was the real spaceman. He was part of the foundation of Kiss, and don't let anyone tell you that he wasn't, or that he could be easily replaced by just somebody else wearing the makeup. That's not the case, okay? He was the spaceman. As far as I'm concerned, he was from Jendell, and maybe that's where he just went back to. I don't know. Man, sad day. The lead guitar player of your favorite band of all time passes away. Really, really bad day. Take care, everyone. Bye.